More than 30 area business people, along with state and local officials and legislators, converged on the Mount Anthony Country Club in Bennington on Tuesday, October 29th, to hear from Betsy Bishop, the executive director of the Vermont State Chamber of Commerce, at a luncheon hosted by the Bennington County Regional Chamber of Commerce. Bishop updated those attending on the state chamber's work both on economic issues facing the state, such as workforce development, as well as within the legislature, where they are hoping to see more investment in tourism promotion above the $3 million amount the state is currently spending on that. But there were other issues as well, like Act 250, that generated plenty of dialogue among those attending the luncheon.
Their whole job is to try to get you to not even apply. And part of the reason, and then if you do apply, there's incredible amount of uncertainty as to whether you will receive a permit or not, despite how much effort you put into it or how much time it will take you. And you go into a process where it's like, well, this should take 2 months. I'm only asking for 300 square feet of impact, but it might take you a year and a half because you haven't put a colon in the right place of the application.
Vermont is as beautiful as it really is. This is why people come here. It's because there are no billboards, because we do have tight downtowns. We don't have as much sprawl. Nobody's coming here looking to go to Paramus, New Jersey. I mean, they can go to Paramus, New Jersey. This is a beautiful state and one that has to continue to be as beautiful, to continue to pull in tourism. And I think you guys absolutely understand this. I do agree with Senator Sears on the timing. The House has had this bill now. It's going to be for over a session. And I am worried about it coming to us late. I'm worried that it's even not to us at this point, and that it's going to be a bit of an uphill battle educating colleagues around, again, the ins and outs of Act 250, what we're trying to do. But as a member of Senate Natural Resources and Energy, the things that I'm interested in are very much what's already happening around preserving small downtowns, preventing sprawl. New pieces of things that we're talking about have to do with climate change. Not so much mitigating climate change, but building resiliency.
What I found really interesting about the luncheon today was that we had really two main subjects around business issues. Act 250 was a vibrant discussion in a lot of different ways, and how we can make that process easier, but without really changing any of the criteria. I think everybody was in agreement that we should have some sort of environmental ethic in Vermont, keep that, maintain that, keep that strong, but how do we make the process so that it is less costly and that it's quicker and also consistent throughout the state? That's something that I think we really heard today, was that there's inconsistency depending on what region of the state you are in. So I think that is the question and something that we'll be working on. The other theme that ran through today's luncheon was one around tourism issues. We found that there were plenty of people here from the tourism industry who are interested in figuring out how to market Vermont as a destination, and that's something that we need to do more of. We'll be asking for a $500,000 increase to the tourism promotion budget. It currently is at $2 million, so that's something that we'll be looking at this year as well.
Along with Act 250, local option taxes and broadband development were some of the other topics that came up at the luncheon, along with plans for celebrating the 250th anniversary of the state in 2027.
And we're going to have a forum in Manchester to try to answer exactly that question, how communities can try to band together and apply for these planning grants, to conduct a feasibility study to see what the solution might be for their community.
Afterwards, Matt Harrington, the executive director of the Bennington County Regional Chamber, gave his reactions to the issues that surfaced during the 2-hour-long luncheon.
You know, always challenges, especially as we end fall, we start to kick off the new year and a new session. So this is where we love to get our members together, start to talk about those things that they're going to be hearing about in the next couple months as the session kicks off. It goes back to tourism. Tourism is one of the largest industries in Vermont and definitely one of the largest industries in Bennington County. So there's a lot of discussion around tourism, mainly around funding larger efforts parts of tourism. I think option tax came up as a local solution, but also we have a dwindling tourism budget as a state, and I think part of the question is, how do we not only stop that dwindling budget, how do we grow that budget even if it's incrementally? So how do we spend that? How do we spend that wisely? Interestingly, the other things that popped up were permitting and Act 250, and there was a lot of great discussion and debate around that. I think what I always love about the luncheon, it brings in Betsy and Charles from the Vermont Chamber. It also brings in a lot of our senators and representatives. It brings in a lot of our members, and our members are so diverse. Whether it's an engineer, whether it's an architect, whether it's a store owner, whether it's a lawyer, it just creates really a diverse, fun discussion, and sometimes it's a challenging discussion. But I think a lot of people walk out of there, especially I know the Vermont Chamber and our local representatives and senators, knowing some more sources to go to. And I think that every time we've done this lunch, we've seen that they've met new people with new perspectives and new opinions, and that weighs in on the conversation. And it starts here at the Legislative Luncheon, and then we hope that it carries on through the session.
It will only be a couple of months before the lawmakers return to Montpelier, and it's already looking to be like a lively session. For the GNAT-TV News Project, I'm Andrew McKeever.